Welcome, I'm Advocate Bhagyashree Bhosle. In today's lecture, we shall see the provision regarding operation and mismanagement and its prevention under the company law. The management of a company is based on the majority rule, but at the same time, the interest of the minority cannot be completely overlooked. While talking of the majority and minority, we are not talking of a numerical majority or a numerical minority, but of the majority or a minority of a voting strength of a shareholder. The reason for this distinction is that a small group of shareholders may hold the majority shareholding, whereas the majority of shareholders may among them hold a very small percentage of a share capital. Once they acquire control, the majority can, for all practical purposes, do whatever they want with the company with a practically no control or a supervision. Because even if they are questioned on their act in a general meeting, they always come out the winner because of their greater voting strength. So the Modern Companies Act contain a large number of a provision for the protection of the interest of the minorities in a company. The special rule is that the rule in a Foss versus Harbottle is one of the important rule for the protection of a minorities interest. This rule was laid down in a 19th century in case of the Foss versus Harbottle 1843, where the action was brought by two shareholders in a company against the director, charging them with concerting and effecting various fraudulent and illegal transactions whereby the property of the company was misapplied and wasted, and praying that the defendant might be decreed to make good to the company for the losses. The action was rejected in respect of those transactions which a majority of a shareholder had the power to confirm. Briefly, the opinion of the court was the conduct with which the defendant are charged is an injury not to the plaintiff exclusively, but it is an injury to the whole corporation. In such a cases, the rule is that the corporation should sue in its own name and in its corporate character. It is not a matter of course for any individual member of the corporation thus to assume to themselves the right of a suing in the name of the corporation. In law, the corporation and aggregate of the member of the corporation are not the same thing for the purpose like this. This rule was restated in a similar terms in the Edward versus Halliwell. The rule in Foss versus Harbottle come to no more than this. First, the proper plaintiff in respect of a wrong alleged to be done to the company is a prima facie the company itself. Secondly, where the alleged wrong is in transaction which might be made binding on the company by a simple majority of the member, no individual member of the company is allowed to maintain an action in respect of that matter for a simple reason that if a mere majority of the member of the company is in favor of what has been done, then no question arises. The Indian case illustrating the rule in a Foss versus Harbottle is a Bhajekar versus Shinkar. The board of a director of the company passed a resolution appointing a certain person as a managing agent. The resolution was confirmed by the company in a general meeting with a full knowledge of all the material facts. Some of the directors brought a suit for the declaration that the resolution was invalid on the ground of a certain irregularities. Hell, it was open to the company to rectify the resolution even if it was irregular. The plaintiff were not under these circumstances entitled to maintain the suit and asked the court to interfere in that matter. There are certain advantages of the rule versus Harbottle. The following are the advantages of the rule for Foss versus Harbottle. The recognition of a separate legal personality of the company, the preservation of the right of the majority to decide, the multiplicity of the futile suits are avoided. Exception to the rule in a Foss versus Harbottle. For protecting the right of a minority, certain exceptions to the above rule are recognized and applied. These exceptions are as follows: the Ultra Virus Act, fraud on a minority, act requiring the special majority, wrongdoers in a control, individual membership's right, operation and mismanagement. In this article, we will be dealing with the last exception in a detail. Operation. The term operation has been explained by Lord Cooper in a Elder versus Elder and Western Limited 1952. The essence of the matter seems to be that the conduct comply of the should at the lowest involve a visible departure from the standard of a fair dealing and a violation of the condition of a fair play on which every shareholder who entrusts his money to the company is entitled to reply. Act held as a oppressive. Looking to the various judicial pronouncement, some of the act amounting to the operation may be summarized as follows: not calling a general meeting and keeping a shareholder in a dark, no maintenance of a statutory record, and not conducting affairs of the company in accordance with the Companies Act, depriving a member of the right to dividend, refusal to register a transmission under the will, issue to further share benefiting a section of a shareholder, failure to distribute the amount of a compensation received on a nationalization of a business of a company among the member were required to be distributed. All these circumstances or all these act may be called as a operation. Act held as not oppressive. The following act have been held as not oppressive: an unwise, inefficient or careless conduct of the director, non-holding of a meeting of a director, non-declaring a dividend when the company is making losses, denial of a inspection of a books to the shareholder, lack of a details in a notice of a meeting, non-maintenance or non-filling of the record, increasing the voting right of the shareholder held by the management. All these are the act which cannot be called as a oppressive act of the company. Prevention of a operation. Then we shall see the provision regarding the prevention of a operation and the various provision under the company to prevent this operation. The first remedy available to the oppressed minority is to move the company law board and not the tribunal whenever the affairs of the company are not being conducted in a manner prejudicial to the public interest or in a manner oppressive to any member or a members. An application can be made to the company law board. Now we can say as a tribunal as per the amended act. Who can apply to the tribunal for a prevention of a operation? Any member of the company who complain that the affairs of the company are being conducted in a manner oppressive to any member or a members, including any one or a more of themselves, may apply to the court for an order under this section, provided such a member have a right so to apply in a virtue of a section 399 of the Companies Act. The section come into force only when the aggrieved member is able to show that he suffered an injustice in his capacity as a shareholder and not in any other capacity. The requisite number of a member who must sign the application is given in a section 399 of the amended Companies Act. The requirement varies with the fact as to whether the company has a share capital or not and is discussed as follows. In case of the company having a share capital not less than 100 member of the company or not less than 1/10 of the total number of members, whichever is less, or any member or a members holding not less than 1/10 of a issued share capital of the company, provided that the applicant or applicants have paid all calls and other sums due to share. In this case, the company not having the share capital not less than 1/5 of the total member of its member may apply to the tribunal for the prevention of the operation. The central government may, if in its opinion circumstances exist which make it just and equitable so to do, authorize any member or a members of the company to apply to the court under section 397, notwithstanding that two above mentioned requirements are not fulfilled. Beside member, the following may also apply for the relief. Under section 401, the central government or any person authorized by the central government has right to file a petition for the prevention of operation. Under section 243 of the Companies Act, any person authorized by the central government under the circumstances mentioned in this section can also file a petition. A legal representative of a deceased member on whom the title of the share devolves by operation of the law can approach to the tribunal and file a petition for the prevention of the operation. Who cannot, we shall see the provision regarding who cannot apply for the prevention of operation to the tribunal. The following person cannot apply for the relief under section 397 for the prevention of operation and mismanagement. A member whose calls or other sum dues on their share have not been paid. A holder of a letter of allotment of a partly paid shares. A holder of a share warrant. A transferee of a share has not lost the share for a transfer of the company. Then we shall see the provision regarding notice to the central government regarding the petition. Under section 400 require a company law board or a tribunal to give a notice to every application made to it under section 397 to the central government. Then we shall see the provision regarding the various reliefs against the operation. Under section 397, if on an application the court is of opinion that the company's affairs are being conducted in a manner oppressive to any member or a members, or and that to wind up of the company would unfairly prejudice with such a member or a members, but that otherwise the fact would justify the making of a winding up order on the ground that it was just and equitable that the company should be wound up. The court may, with the view of bringing to an end the matter complained of, make a such a order as it deems fit. Then we shall see the provision regarding the mismanagement in the Companies Act. Under section 398 of the Companies Act, mismanagement is said to be done if the affairs of the company are being conducted in a manner prejudicial to the interest of the company, or a material change not being a change brought about by or in the interest of any creditor, including debenture holder or any class of a shareholder of the company, has taken place in the management of control of the company, where by an alteration of its board of a director, or if the managing agent or a secretaries and treasurers, or in a constitution or a control of the firm or a body corporate acting as its managing agent or a secretaries and treasurer, or in the ownership of the company's share, or if it has no share capital in its membership or in any other manner whatsoever, and that by reason of such a change it is likely that the affairs of a company will be conducted in a manner prejudicial to the interest of the company. There is a certain acts which are held as a mismanagement. The following act have been held as a amounting to mismanagement, where there is a serious infighting between the director, where a board of a director is not illegal and illegally is being continued, where the bank accounts were operated by unauthorized person, where the director take no serious action to recover the amount embezzled, continuation in office after the expiry of a term of a director, sales of a asset at a low price and without the compliance with the provision of the act, violation of the memorandum, violation of the statutory provision and the articles of association, company doomed to trade unprofitably. All these acts are called as a mismanagement of the company. Act held as a not mismanagement are as follows: building up of the reserve or a non-declaration of a dividend, especially when it does not result in a devaluation of the share. Merely because the company incurs the loss, mismanagement cannot be alleged. Arrangement which with a creditor in a company's bona fide interest. Removal of the director and termination of the work manager services. All these acts cannot be held as a mismanagement. Then we shall see the provision regarding the prevention of a mismanagement. Application to the company law board. Now company law board is converted to the tribunal. The first remedy available to the oppressed minority is to move the company law board, means now to move the tribunal. Then we shall see who can apply to the tribunal. First of all, any member of the company who complain that the affairs of the company are being conducted in a manner prejudicial to the interest of the company. Then that a material change will be conducted in a manner prejudicial to the interest of the company, may apply to the court for an order under the section, and provided such a member have a right to do so, apply in a virtue of a section 399. The requisite number of a member who must sign the application is given under a section 399. In case of the company having a share capital not less than 100 member of the company, or not less than 1/10 of the total number of its member, whichever is less, any member or a members holding not less than 1/10 of its issued share capital of the company, provided that the applicant or the applicants have paid all costs and other sum due on them shares. In case of the company not having a share capital not less than 1/5 of the total member, can apply to the tribunal for the prevention of a mismanagement. Then who cannot apply for the prevention of a mismanagement is a member whose calls or other sum due on their shares have not been paid, a holder of a letter of allotment of a partly paid shares, a holder of a share warrant, a transferee of a share who has not lodged the share for a transfer of the company cannot apply for the relief. But the central government or any person authorized by central government have a right to file a petition to the tribunal for the prevention of a mismanagement or a prevention of a operation. The person authorized by government under the circumstances given under the section 243, and as well as a legal representative of a deceased member have a right to file a petition for the prevention of a mismanagement. As per section 400 requires a company law board, means a tribunal, to give a notice of every application made to it under section 398 to the central government. Then we shall see the provision regarding the relief against the mismanagement. If on an application the court is of opinion that the affairs of the company are not being conducted as a forfeit, or that by any reason of a material change as a forfeit in the management or a control of the company, it is likely that the affairs of the company will be conducted as a forfeit, the court may, with a view to bringing to an end or preventing the matter complied or apprehended to it. Then we shall see the powers of a tribunal, means pastly it is known as the company law board and now it is known as the tribunal, where under the National Company Law Tribunal, where the section 397 and 98 confer general powers of the company law board, means National Company Law Tribunal, to pass a necessary order including an interim order where the appropriate to end the operation and mismanagement. Section 400 to empower it to grant a certain specific relief. The relief contemplated under section 400 to are the regulation of the conduct of the company's affair in the future, the purchase of a share or interest of any member of the company by other member thereof or by the company. In case of a purchase of its share by the company as a forfeit, the consequent reduction of the share capital. Then the tribunal may also order for the termination, setting aside or modification of any agreement, howsoever arrived at a between the company on the one hand and any of the following person on the other hand, namely the managing director, any other director, the managing agent, the secretaries and treasurers, and the manager, upon such a terms and condition as may, in the opinion of a court, be just and equitable in all circumstances of the case. The termination, setting aside, or a modification of any agreement between the company and person not referred to in a clause D, provided that no such agreement shall be terminated, set aside, or modified except after due notice to the party concerned, and provided further that no such agreement shall be modified except after obtaining the consent of the parties. In the conclusion, we can say that the Act and the Code try to strike a fine balance between the right of a minority, right of a majority to the rule laid down in a Foss versus Harbottle, and the protection of the interest of the minority shareholder through the prevention of a operation and mismanagement. Thank you very much.